Well, we're on the final stretch of the ride. Less than a mile left on the C&O Canal. It's gotten very narrow, and I am physically in Georgetown, so I am in Washington, D.C. I'm not formally ending the ride for a couple more days. I'm going to do that at the Thomas Jefferson Memorial, which is a very inspiring place. But as you can see, I'm looking pretty rugged. I'm feeling pretty rugged. I need to get cleaned up, and I need to do some media outreach before I formally roll into the city. So I'm going to hole up here for a day or two at a hotel, get cleaned up, and make some media calls, and then complete the journey. And it's very interesting. Just a couple miles up the path, a few miles up the path, I had done a brief stop to do a brief video. Some folks stopped to talk to me afterwards about the trike, and then some other folks came walking up and asked me some stuff about it. And one of their voices sounded very familiar, and he looked familiar too. I couldn't tell at first, but on second glance, I said, "Bruce," and it was Bruce Babbitt, former Secretary of the Interior. And Bruce and we had locked horns pretty severely years ago in the 90s over the Everglades, and when he was Secretary of the Interior. But that was then, and now is now, and it was neat to see him and run into him. It's like I said, when you're on an adventure like this and you're just open, you just don't know who you're going to run into and who you're going to meet, and from the past or somebody new, and it's all great. And so that was a real treat to see him on the C&O Canal path this morning and say hello. So here we are. And I just wanted to say a few words about something that's been on my mind, and it's the climate deniers. It's the people and the forces who are working so hard to create doubt in the minds of the American people about the very real climate crisis that we face here on planet Earth. And I know I've met a few people on this ride that have said something to me that really struck home, and just why they think we're not seeing real leadership on this greatest issue of our time, and that is because of greed. And I think they're right, and it's been characterized to me more than once, greed, as a disease. And I'd never quite heard it put that way before I started pedaling this trike across the country, and I would have to say I agree with that assessment. I think greed is a disease, and a lot of people are afflicted with it, and I think it's something that we're going to have to deal with as a society and as a species if we're going to save ourselves and save this planet. And it blinds people to what matters, which is each other and our friends and our family and our community and our planet and future generations and the children of the earth and all the other species that live here, that have a right to live here. Greed blinds some people to all of that, and it's really tragic. It's really sad, and if it is indeed a disease, then we need to find a cure. And personally, I think the cure is love, and it's just looking inside your heart. I don't think anyone is beyond redemption when it comes to that, and we just don't know who's going to step up to the fore and do what needs to be done to save civilization while we still have the time, and we don't have a lot. I don't think, and nor do leading climate scientists. So I'd never give up on anybody, but you know, it's time for the people of America and the people of the world to unify our voices to overcome those who are afflicted with the disease of greed, and to call them out for you know what it is, and call greed out for what it is. And you know, the whole climate denier thing, and you know, these think tanks that are, you know, and Wall Street marketing firms that are trying to create confusion in the minds of the public. That's really twisted, and I just wonder how people can sleep at night, you know, who are part of that. You know, I mean, do you have children? Do you have grandchildren? Do you care about children? I mean, this is about protecting them and their future, and we don't care about your money. It's not about your money, and it's just it just blows my mind. I don't understand it, but I do know that they've got to be called out, and so that's what I'm calling for, is that part of our national conversation not only be about, you know, a bold goal for America, 100% renewables by 2020, a green energy moonshot, but let's have an honest conversation about why that's not happening. And it's because very powerful and greedy forces and people who, you know, have gotten very wealthy off of the status quo and like things the way they are, and don't seem to care about anybody else or the future. And you know, that's who we have to call out, and we've got to counter that with, you know, the moral force of doing what needs to be done, doing what's right. And you know, the beauty of doing that is, I mean, it is going to be an amazing, exciting time once we decide as a society that we are going to turn the corner, and we are going to do everything we can to minimize the impacts of the global climate crisis. And you know, we're going to reinvigorate our communities, we're going to reinvigorate our manufacturing base in this country, we're going to get unemployed, 8-9 million Americans who are unemployed reemployed in the green jobs sector. We're going to catapult ourselves to the head of the, you know, economic competitiveness worldwide once again, and we're going to show the world what America's made of, that we are a great nation, we are a great people with great big hearts, and we care. And that, you know, and then we finally got fed up with those who were blocking progress, and we told them, sorry, you gotta get out of the way, your time's up, and take your money and just get out of the way. So that's where I think we need to go, and that's what I believe we can do. And so let's do it, America. Let's rock and roll. Let's have some fun doing it, and let's come together in a way that that people have come together, you know, for me on my ride, and let's have an adventure of a lifetime, an adventure of a generation together. There's nothing like a generational mission. I have not had the honor to be part of one, and I'm really looking forward to it. And that's why I did this ride, was to help launch that, and I'm determined that we will succeed. We're going to do this because this is America. That's what we do. We do great things. All right. Well, on that note, I'm feeling a little nostalgic. I'm going to go ahead and call it, and see you at Thomas Jefferson Memorial in a couple days.